Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Murray, and I'm the host of The Gift of Giving. I'd like to welcome you all to this program. If you are tuning in for the first time, this program features the nonprofits, 501c3s, and foundations that are based right here in the state of Nevada. These are people who are making our community a brighter and a better place. If you're tuning in from out of state, I hope you will stay tuned because our guest today might have an organization that you might consider starting in your own states. We'd love to see it in all 50 states across the country. So, my guest this week is Nigel Murray. He's the founder of Clothes for Kids, and his mother, she's the director, Sean Murray, director of Clothes for Kids. And even though my name is Stephen Murray, I'd like to just mention that there's no nepotism in this program. We are not related, although I'd be very proud to have Nigel as a son and the way you raised him clearly. So welcome to the program,
Thank
both
you.
of
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Not at all. So, Nigel, we're going to start with you. You're 21 years old now, but you started Clothes for Kids at the tender age of 14. Tell us what actually prompted you what was the catalyst that prompted you to start this organization?
Yeah, so like you said, I'm 21 right now. Started the nonprofit when I was 14. But during that time, our family, my father and my mother were going through the process of becoming licensed foster parents. And so it was a pretty comprehensive process. Took them about 8 weeks roughly. Took about 8 weeks to go through all the classes. And so one day I was at school, and I remember it very vividly. I was in science class, and they called me down to the office, said, "You going home early?" I was very, very happy, right? I wasn't necessarily sure exactly what was going on, but was happy. Who wants to be in school, right? So they told me I was going home early. I got in the car, and my parents told me that we were going to the child shelter because I was going to be getting a new sibling. I was very, very excited.
He's an only child
yeah, I'm
here
an
at
only,
home. Yeah.
yeah, I'm an only child, so it was always just me by myself. So it was super excited to have somebody to finally, keep me company. And so we went down there. We kind of talked to him to see if he felt comfortable enough going home with us. He said he wanted to go. And so in the process of getting him from the children's shelter to our home, all of his belongings that he had it in a trash bag. And so we got home. I kind of showed him around, like, hey, here's your room, here's my room, here's the backyard. Just, kind of getting him acquainted to his new environment. And so as we begin to get him settled in and put some of his clothes in his drawer and things like that, I quickly noticed that a lot of the clothing inside of that bag was, it didn't fit him. The clothes were either way too big from or way too small. And you could kind of see that he didn't really have a lot of confidence in the way that he carried himself. He was very mellow, didn't say too much. And so this was in the middle of the week, and he actually had to be enrolled in school for the next day. So my parents had to run out very late at night to try and scramble together, some clothes for him to wear, because obviously he didn't want to wear these clothes. And, this day and age, kids are very judgmental, and, we had to figure out something for him to feel confident wearing. So after we got back home and he finally put on clothes that he picked out and that he felt confident in, he was a totally new kid. He began to smile, laugh, kind of show his true colors. And so I kind of noticed that transition and was like, hey, I wonder if, was this a unique situation, or is this something that happens to other children in foster care? So my family had some other friends that were also fostering, and they basically said it was the same exact situation. Our foster child came home and didn't have a lot of clothes that fit them, and we had to run out and pretty much copy and paste our exact experience. So that's what prompted me to start the nonprofit.
Wow. That's amazing at 14 that you had that sensitivity and that foresight, and just seeing how that your new sibling reacted to the clothes that he had. And now, what was your reaction, Sean, when Nigel came to you and said, I want to start this Clothes for Kids program?
I was not surprised at all.
Oh, you weren't?
We taught Nigel early on. I wanted him to know what empathy was, sympathy, and things like that, and to always look out for other people. So we planted that seed in him early. So I was just excited to see the fruit from
your labor.
Absolutely. And Nigel, he's always loved clothes. So he was 14 at the time, but even prior to that, just as a little boy, when we'd go and get him school clothes, like he would you have to try the clothes on, and he'd try the clothes on, and each thing he'd look in the mirror and he's dancing and all of that. So he loves clothes. So quite naturally, because he loves clothes, just like a child would want to share toys, when he saw that that child didn't have clothes, he wanted that child to have brand new clothes just like he had. So I was not surprised at all. And we were actually excited about that. We had no idea at the time that that idea would turn into, like, here we are 8 years later. Yes. So we had no idea that it would turn into this. We just thought it was just some little thing, anything that he was interested in. We always nurtured that and got right behind him. If he said he wanted to sell lemonade, we're like, let's go. And so this was just another thing. But again, we had no idea it would turn into something that would end up helping children, not just here in Vegas, but other states as well. So it's been a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's amazing what. Well, we'll be going into the depths of what the actual program does in the next segment, but it's amazing how it just has really blossomed and grown.
Yes. Yes.
And did you foresee? Is this what you hoped it would get to, or did it just morph into it over the years?
Yeah, I mean, originally when I kind of had the idea, it was more of just a small idea. I just wanted to help a couple kids, but as we began to do different things, we really started to see the need, and the community really supported us, and it was able to grow into what it is today.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
that's fantastic. So now, Sean, your role in the organization now is as a director. So what are your responsibilities within the organization?
Well, let's just say a director for a woman. I'm just his mom.
So you just
director
plug up
at home.
Holes, whatever doesn't
it means
get done,
mom.
Okay, you'll do whatever's needed.
Pretty much whatever is needed, and just kind of helping to facilitate when we do need volunteers, helping. Basically, again, it's so funny to look at that role as a director, and in my mind, I'm just his mom. And even when he was younger, whatever ideas that he have, I feel like my role is to put wings behind that. If he has an idea, okay, let's see how we can make that happen. Getting volunteers and just the day-to-day operations of it. With the bags, like he had an idea that to replace those trash bags with duffel bags, and then with that. To be able to reach out to different organizations to see if there's anyone who would sponsor those bags and just different things like that. So I feel like that's what, when you're the director of your son's organization, it's mom.
Okay. And we'll be talking a little bit more in depth on those duffel bags in the next segment when we discuss everything in detail. Nigel, it's not easy to set up a 501c3 or nonprofit. There's paperwork galore. Did you do it all yourself, or did you have to go out to reach outside and get somebody to help you out with that?
Yeah, so my dad helped. He was a huge help in helping to set all that stuff up, because I was only 14 at the time. So
it's tough when you're 21,
right? I barely even knew what a credit card was when I was 14. So he definitely was a huge help in helping us to kind of structure it and get everything running from a legal standpoint.
And that is the structure of our lives. His father is a retired captain with the Clark County Fire Department, and with me being a stay-home mom, my husband just handled all of the things. And so when Nigel had the idea, quite naturally, I as his mom kick in and help with those type of things that I just mentioned. But then my husband, he structured the whole thing, and so that's how
made it what it is.
Made sure everything was done properly.
Cool. It's great. So you've got support all around. You've got support from the community. What about school? Did you get any support from school teachers? Did they know about it in your school, what you were doing?
Yeah. So when I was 14, I was, what grade was that? That was not, I think I was in the 9th grade. I was in high school. No, I was definitely in high school. But yeah, as the nonprofit began to grow, we definitely got support from the school. People in the school started to kind of, find out about what I was doing. At first, it was kind of like kept somewhat low key. Not a lot of people really knew, but obviously the more we got involved with the community, people started to find out, and they were always very supportive.
Yeah.
It was very interesting as he went through high school, because he only went to 10th grade. So he was at this high school 9th and 10th. And then we pulled him after 10th grade, and he went to a dual credit. So he was in college after 10th grade. So the 2 years he was at this high school, teachers would reach out to see if maybe some of the kids could do a clothing drive and things like that. And one of the big rewards to me was after he graduated, that same school invited him to come back and speak to the younger kids about how they could practically get involved in their community and do something like that. So yeah, he was able to return to his old high school and be a
Nice.
speaker for younger
Neat.
kids.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Boy, you really massed a lot of support for what you're doing out there.
Mm.
We're going to take a little brief break. Please stay with us, folks. We're going to just take a brief sponsorship break. When we come back, we're going to get into the details of what Clothes for Kids actually does. Please stay with us.
Budget deficits, national debt, presidential elections, government shutdowns, global conflicts in Europe, global conflicts in the Middle East, global pandemics, interest rates, rising inflation. Markets go up and markets go down for reasons nobody can control. Don't let the volatility of the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Your financial strategy can make all the difference. I'm Joshua Dowden. At Priority Wealth Partners, your goals are our goals. We believe people can live better lives with smart financial education and knowledge. We work closely with clients to match strategy with individual needs. Our personal financial strategies have helped investors accomplish their goals while reducing market volatility, and we can help you too. You've worked hard to get where you are now. Your financial plan should work hard for you in retirement. Conveniently located in downtown Summerlin, my name's Joshua Dowden. Call me today for a free consultation, 702-808-6513. That's 702-808-6513.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. And I'd like to thank again our guest today, Nigel Murray, founder of Clothes for Kids, and his mother, director, Sean Murray, director of Clothes for Kids. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of what your organization does. Now, you actually have a store where you have all these clothes, right? You have a building where all these clothes are housed. So how do people, first of all, how do they hear of your organization? How do they know that it exists?
So from what standpoint are you asking? Just like from the regular individual or from the people that we
How
serve?
do the public do they hear about it from social services or anything like that? Or do they just happen to be wandering by? Is it case by case referral?
Yeah, so like through
all
social,
of the above.
Yeah, through social services, because we're partnered with a few resources where our information is given to new foster homes, and so from there, either their caseworker will reach out to us, or they'll reach out directly, and then we kind of service them from there.
Okay.
Yeah. So when children are in Child Haven down at county services, a lot of those social workers have our information, and so they will send us a request when they get children who need clothes. They will send us a request, and then we contact those families that they refer to us. We contact them. So that's one branch of it. And then now just so many people have heard about it. So a lot of the parents, you have a lot of families, this is just what they do. They foster children. So we have people who just keep returning. They may have had a baby 2 years ago, and now they've gotten more children. And so we allow them to keep coming back, even if you just have one. So if you have one child, you can come back to us because we know the seasons are going to change. So if they had the child in the winter, now they're going to need summer clothes and things like that. And so people hear about us just word of mouth, and a lot of social workers. Now, the facility that we have, it's not a public space. So my husband and I purchased a home. And when we saw that Nigel needed more space, and we'll get into that later, the project K4K, but we saw that he needed a space because he had all of his things in our garage. And so then we purchased a home, and we just allowed him to turn those bedrooms into rooms based on age. So we have a bedroom that has all baby clothes in it, and we've got racks. And so it's like a little mini store.
Gotcha.
And so that's how, and so again, it's just a home. So if you just pass by it, you would never know. No. And so we allow the foster families. So foster families know what it is, and caseworkers know. And so they come and they can come inside and they're able to pick some items on their own. And that's why we want to gravitate transition from a home to like a real facility where it's opened Monday through Saturday, where families can just come in and pick their own things. So that's
okay, and we'll talk about that project later on. You mentioned about they need new clothes as the seasons change from winter to spring and summer.
Yes.
What about as they get older and they, let's say someone comes to you when they're age 10 and they're in foster care till 18, can they come back every year as they're growing out of these clothes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, there are some children that we've helped like on multiple different occasions. You know, obviously summertime is very hot in Vegas, so we're not giving out any coats. But once wintertime comes around, a lot of the foster kids in their either a caseworker or foster family will come back to get resources per season.
Yeah. One of the things we've noticed since we've been doing this so long, we try to clothe children from 0 to 3 months up to 18. And when families have teenagers, and so our process is we get the referral, we get the child's age and their clothing size, and we will go ahead and pack that duffel bag for them, a 1 week supply of brand new clothes. That way the foster family, they don't have to wash clothes, whatever. So that's like 7 days worth of clothes, pajamas, all of that. What we noticed is teenagers, no matter what we pack, they do not like it. You cannot choose clothing for teenagers. So we shifted, instead of buying clothes, because we catch sales at different stores. And so when we see things on sale, we just go ahead and buy it and place it in those rooms. So we have the teenage room. But no matter what we buy, if I like it, he does not. And so I think that's how most families can see. If you purchase things for your teens, they don't like it. So we stopped doing that because we noticed we were wasting resources. We had all these clothes that teens didn't want. So now what we try to do is give gift cards to those foster families for that child and allow the child to go and pick their own clothing. It's just something about a teenager. They do not want you to pick for them. They want to choose their own clothes. And so that's where we are with that. So we're shifting from giving them clothes to gift cards, which means that's a little more expensive. Sure. Because I can find great deals. Whereas now we need to give the foster family a gift card. You can't give them 25. You can't really give them 50. We'd prefer to give each child, it was $75 to $100. So that's a little challenging, but we're going to work it out with volunteers.
There's always solutions. Always solutions.
Absolutely.
You've mentioned duffel bags a couple of times, and I saw on your website there's a little icon for duffel bags. Yeah. So I think you alluded to, you pack these duffel bags with clothes. Where the duffel bags come from, do you rely on donations or for the duffel bags?
We had a company that sponsored them for us. A mom reached out to me, and she has one son, and she connected with me because she knew that Nigel was my one son. Long story short, he's a business owner, and he actually purchases those duffel bags for us, and he puts the logo on it. So we already have duffel bags with our K for K logo on it, and kids love those. And then we pack them with clothing.
You pack them with clothes.
Yes.
And then when they come back, do they need to bring their duffel bag back and say, I want more clothes? Or
if it's the same child, we do prefer. And if they don't bring it, then we'll just kind of put it in, a bag, just a regular bag, just to kind of save those bags. One thing that when Nigel was coming up with this idea, we wanted to put a comfort item in every bag. So for a baby, that would be a teddy bear or things like that. But we asked Nigel, if you were taken away from us, if we were that family and something was going on with our in our lives where you couldn't live with us and social services stepped in and you had to be taken away, what would be one thing that would comfort you? Because remember, these children are taken out of their environment and placed in a stranger's home for them. So we asked him, what would comfort you? And he said, I would want a blanket. I would want my blanket, which made so much sense, because if you think about your blanket, it's a comfort item. When you get in bed at night, it feels great. You can put that, and so we said, let's put a blanket in every bag. And so that's one of the things that we ask the community. And we have so many people who donate brand new blankets for us. We have senior citizens who crochet. They crochet a lot of blankets to give it. So we take all brand new blankets and we put that in every single bag as a comfort item for those children. Yeah.
How cool is that? Okay, let's talk a little bit about this Project 4K. It's a goal. You've got $100,000 goal to raise funds.
Yeah. So
how's that coming along, and where are you at? And are you going to have any fundraisers for it? Or
so like my mom was saying, we're currently we're not in a storefront commercial space. We're operating out of a home. And so that kind of gives us, although it's great, it kind of gives us limitations in terms of some of the things that we can do. Like, obviously, we can't really have any events there or, workshops that we want to host. We always have to do it in a third-party venue. So our goal is really to have a central location to where not only we can expand, right, and have, because we do when the children come and shop, we have to do it on an appointment basis because it's a small space, right? We can't have 5 kids in here at one time, or else there really won't be any room to navigate.
Outside your house as well.
Right. So to really have a central storefront location to where we can increase that traffic and the amount of children that we can serve by having people constantly in and out, and then also a space for us to be able to have these workshops. So Project Klothes for Kids is an effort for us to be able to secure this spot for us to serve the community at a larger scale than we're already doing.
Okay. Now, do you have the location already, or you're raising the funds first and then you're gonna find somewhere?
Yeah, so we have that's something that we're kind of navigating through. We have a couple different potential opportunities that we're looking at. So there are, a few spaces that we're looking into getting. So we're just really trying to, see what will be the best move for the nonprofit. But right now we're still, open for any type of opportunity. So we're still kind of navigating that space, but we do know that it's coming soon, whatever it will be. So we're kind of just preparing right now so that whenever that opportunity does come, we're fully prepared so we can get everything set up, because our biggest goal is just to get to helping more kids as fast as possible. So
yeah, and there's been some great properties that have presented itself to us, and so we're in talks with some people about that. But even with that, it'll have to be renovated and made so that the children would be able to come in and do the workshops and things like that. So we are hopeful that we will soon have a public space for children to just come and be themselves, and again, to give them the opportunity to be able to pick. It's something about choosing that we're noticing with these children. It's more important for them to choose their clothes because all of their choices have been taken away. And it's something about them being able to come in and choose their own socks and choose their own shirt. That's more important to them than children who have not lost their families of origin. Yeah.
Sure. Hold that thought. We're going to take another sponsorship break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Comes a triple yodel. Adi-yodelay, the-little-lee-oh, the-little-lee-oh, oh-oh-wee.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for staying with us, and thank you again, Nigel Murray and his mother, Sean Murray, for being with us today. You're doing amazing work here with Clothes for Kids. Not only do you have the clothing aspect of your organization, you've alluded to workshops in the last segment, and also you have some after-school job training programs. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? How often you have them? How many? What you cover in those workshops?
Yeah, so originally we started out with service and foster children on the clothing side, but I began to realize that there are other needs that they also need as well besides clothes. So so far we've had one workshop. It was a post-school job training. It was to prepare these foster children, and it wasn't even exclusive to only foster children. It was just for young children in general, to prepare them for the workforce, post college or even post high school. So teaching them job training skills in terms of how to dress for success, how to conduct yourself in an interview, how to communicate. And so we've had one of those, but due to, like I said in the previous sector, to limitations with our location and having to find different places to host these workshops. We've only had one so far, but we definitely are looking to continue doing that and to have more in the future.
It was a successful program.
Yes,
when
very,
you had it. So
yeah, very successul. We had a great turnout.
good feedback.
Yeah, the parents were very, very happy with, kind of some of the results they've been able to see with their children. So, and it was also really fun. I mean, that was our first workshop. We've had like other events, but in terms of like an educational workshop of us teaching something, that was our first. We partnered with a nonprofit here called Mastering Mindsets. So it was like the both of us, one of the founder of their nonprofit and then me, we kind of came together to put on this workshop. It was very successful. I had a great time.
Yeah.
So it's nice to partnership with other organizations too. Do you get any support from federal, state, or local governments? Do you do any lobbying with the state legislatures to get funding at all?
We have we with
No, we've mostly done grants.
Yeah, a lot of grants.
We get a lot of grants opportunity. One big supporter of ours is the Speedway local children's charities from the Speedway. They've been great. They do a grant every year. We're working with them. The county actually had a grant opportunity, and we were able to get a grant from them to help with some different things with our funding for clothing and to do workshops. One of the things that Nigel had mentioned about the workshops, we want to expose children also to the educational workshops. Nigel did a program, like I said in a segment, with a dual credit program where children can graduate early. So we want to expose children to that because so many of those children age out at 18 and they have no resources. But if we can get them into programs like what I'm saying, then they graduate high school with an associate's degree also. So it just catapults them, changes the trajectory of their lives. And so to be able to have a space to be able to teach those type of things. So the county has helped us. Speedway charities have helped us. And so that's kind of what we do. We do a lot of grant writing to do that. Absolutely.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And also that's obviously helping, I'm assuming, towards your project, your 100,000 goal for project K for K.
Yes, that will help, but there are guidelines with a lot of those grants. So a lot of those grants, those monies have to go directly to helping the children, and not necessarily facility, but for the bags or for coats and different clothes. So we have to have those line items like that. And so that's where, and that's one of the great things that makes our organization attractive. There is the Kasner Foundation. They've helped us a lot, but those companies like that, they look for organizations like ours that don't have a lot of overhead because they want their donations to go directly to the children and not to staff or anything like that. So that's what has made us attractive because they know that all the money is going directly to the kids.
To the right place.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. And you mentioned staff. I was going to ask you, is your organization, is it manned totally by volunteers, or do you have a paid staff at all? Or
so it's 100% volunteer based.
100% volunteer. Yeah. And you're looking for more volunteers?
Of course, yeah. Especially when we have these events and stuff like that, we normally try and do it pretty big. So yeah, we definitely use volunteers when we have events.
And what qualifications are you looking for in the volunteers? Do they have to be of a certain age, have a certain background? Or
we just look for people who are
kid, or just
people who are passionate about the community and want to serve.
In the right place.
Yeah.
There you go. Got it. Okay. Do you have any upcoming fundraisers planned?
No. Just besides our main goal that we're looking for right now is us trying to secure a storefront property, a commercial space. But besides that, not any upcoming.
Yeah, the only thing is when school comes up, we always have a back to school clothing giveaway. But so during that, but once we get that space, we'll be able to, during the summer months, being able to have the children come on property and things like that. But the home that the clothing is in, it just obviously we can't have that many children. But so back to school clothing giveaway, that'll be coming up.
Okay. Yes, we'll be coming up soon.
Yeah, they get out of school in May, and it seems like they're right back 3 weeks away.
Yes. Approximately how many kids do you think you help out every month or week or year?
Yeah, it kind of.
Got any idea to keep track of the number?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of varies depending on what the season is. Definitely during the wintertime is where it tends to pick up a lot. But So far, since starting a nonprofit, we've been able to help over 5,000 kids. So
Wow.
yeah, and the numbers really just vary
Yeah.
month to month.
Yeah. And some, some weeks that could be 20 bags go out. And right now we're seeing an uptick in it. I'm sure because a lot of families are struggling financially and different things like that. And so that unfortunately a lot of times put children, due to homelessness, they have to take the children and put them in child haven. One interesting fact that I've always, every year around this time, not this time, but during Christmas time, there's an uptick in children in child haven because a lot of families can't afford Christmas, and out of guilt, a lot of times they will have the children to be taken away from them. I know that sounds outlandish, but but they want the children to be able to be taken care of. And that's a time of year that people are so giving during the Christmas months. But we really want to change that children are loved on throughout the year and not just Christmas. And that families don't feel guilted into having their children at child haven just so they can get gifts and be cared for. So, but oftentimes parents, people do desperate things.
Sure. When your back's against the wall, you do what you
have to do what you have to do.
I
So we want to
suppose.
just be able to do wraparound services and love on these families throughout the year, and so they don't feel that they have to do things like that.
Yeah. Well, you guys are really doing amazing work. You should be very proud of what you've started, what you've accomplished, where it's at. You've got to be very proud of your son too.
Yes.
How's your sibling react? Do you still have your foster care child, or
No.
they grown and moved away, or
Grown and moved away? And there's one thing about, and so he was with us for a year. And then he was moved to a long-term. So you have different foster families. You have some families, they are only set up to take in newborn babies and just for a few weeks until they can find a permanent. And that's what's beautiful about foster care. If you can't foster a child, you can do things like this. You can help. Like everybody can't foster, but everybody can do something to help a foster child, right? So you can help collect clothes, or you can just be a short-term home. We were a short-term home, and we had him for a year, and then he was moved to a longer-term facility. Now, one of the things about that is once a child leaves your home, by law, you cannot track that child anymore. So we had no more access to him, even though sometimes I'll Google or I'll go on Facebook and punch in his name because he's over 18 now to see if I can find him. But yeah, once they are removed from your home, you can no longer track them. So yeah.
It's kind of sad in a way, but that's the law, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic having you guys on. It's just amazing what you're giving back. It's just very, very heartwarming and uplifting, and I'm sure our viewers will agree. Before you leave, would you like to give out the contact information, your website, phone number, as how people can get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so our website is clothesforkidslv.org. Clothes is spelled with the K. And then all of our social media handles are Clothes for Kids LV. You can find all information about our website, volunteer opportunities, giving opportunities, and everything that we got going on is all there.
Yes, I thought you had a very, very comprehensive website. So hopefully our viewers will go and tune in. Did you want to put your phone number out there as well?
Yeah, I mean, email is probably the best way to contact, and all that information is on the website.
It's all on the website.
Yeah.
So everybody go to the website and you'll have all the information that you need. I'd like to thank you viewers for tuning in. I hope you found this program inspirational and informative, especially if you're living out of state. You might want to consider starting something similar. I'd also like to thank our John Stars, our show's producer and owner of WWDBTV station. And the show would not be on the air were it not for our sponsors. I'd like to thank Pacific Coast Capital, Priority Wealth Partners, the Firelight Barn, my business partner, Ralph Champion. You'll hear his message right at the end of this program. And also the Friends of the Gift of Giving. These are anonymous donors that help to keep this program on the air, and I'm grateful for their support. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me, Stephen, at thegiftofgiving.vegas. I would love to hear from you, and I hope you'll join us again next week. In the meantime, stay safe, be kind to one another. Have a good week. Bye for now.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.